Hey, thanks for hitting play today. So here's a real plot twist, and this was not part of any 2025 plan. In fact, what I'm about to share with you is not even probably on the top 20 items on my bucket list, but I have just had this incredible opportunity float my way. And when these things land, you just got to say yes. But I'll tell you a bit about the process. So obviously the episode title is Plot Twist, I'm climbing Everest. I'm not going to the top of Mount Everest. I am going to Everest Base Camp. And not only that, the expedition I'll be going on will be taking on Lobuche, I think is how it's pronounced, peak, which is a peak 6,200 kilometers beyond base camp. So going above 6,000 kilometers. And as I've been talking to people about it, they're like, yeah, Leanne, did you know that you start to die after 6,000 meters? So, wow, this is full on. And so this opportunity occurred last Friday. I got an email from an old friend who has also been on one of my podcasts. So I'm going to share the Weekend Rewind with you. His name is Matthew Stewart. He owns a group of companies called The Custodian Way. And if you follow Matt, you've seen, I guess, we've been friends since university, kind of in and out, have mutual friends. But every year he goes on a trip to Nepal through his company, which is called Experience Not Felt Possible. So his whole premise and the whole reason he started this business is to give people experiences they never thought possible, which is absolutely true for what I'm about to do, about to start training for. And yeah, he reached out last Friday and invited me onto this trip. He says he has faith that I can do it. And look, sometimes when you don't believe in yourself, you do have to outsource your faith and confidence. And so funny enough, on Saturday morning, I was like, yes, I'm in. And then I rang him on Monday. Look, I said I was in, but I said yes before actually exploring this. And on the weekend, I was hopping onto YouTube videos. I looked up Island Peak on YouTube, which actually involves walking across ladders, with hundreds of meters of drop. Yeah. And I was like, I just can't do that. It's like, no, we're doing Lobuche Peak. And there is a bit of climbing at the end, so fixed rope climbing and ice axe. You'll need the proper ice boots to get up this 60% incline. And yeah, that's over 6,000 meters. So look, after that conversation, Matt gave me some really good advice. He goes, look, I go every year. You're making this decision from a place of you have no idea what this place is like and you're feeling understandable. And he emphasized it's a trip of a lifetime, basically. And he didn't do any convincing, by the way. I asked him questions, he answered them really well, and I've come to the decision that I'm going to do this. Really, really scared though, to be honest. There are a couple of reasons. Actually, many reasons. I'm not going to list them, all of them, but I have never been on a multi-day hike before, ever. Not even in Queensland, which is at sea level. I've never done that. I've never hiked somewhere and then hiked the next day. I've done day hikes. My Achilles is sore. That's another reason. It's still not 100%. And obviously inflammation at altitude can not be a good thing. I'm scared about the whole climb at the end. I'm scared about the sleeping conditions, about sharing rooms, about the bathroom situation, around fueling myself. I need to get a pair of hiking boots, all this stuff. I'm going from complete beginner. But when I was thinking about it, when do you actually mobilize and learn these things? Only when you've got something in service of. This is all happening in November. So I've got about 6 months to do a lot of strength training, get really, really fit. Although fitness, they reckon when it comes to acclimatizing and altitude sickness, actually there's not a lot to do with it. Really fit people struck down on this. One thing that Matt did say that I kind of laughed at was, he's like, hey, no one's died on Lobuche Peak. I was like, people have died on Island Peak, the other one. I'm like, oh, well, that's a good thing. No one's died. So apparently, like I said, if you just go really slow, you actually have a better chance of making it up because your body has more time to acclimate. So I'm happy to go slow. But the reason I want to do the fitness training is because I want to convince myself that I deserve to be there, because Everest Base Camp alone is really a mental battle. So we've got this 18-day itinerary, which will be arriving in Kathmandu. I'm going to spend a couple of days there. I've never been to Nepal, so just check it out. The amount of reading I've done, Matt just said, look, relax, don't worry about, I'm sure you got all these questions, just chill. I haven't been doing that. I've been doing the complete opposite. I've been quite distracted by this decision and watching YouTube, reading blogs about it, jumping into Facebook groups, reading what people recommend, screenshotting some cool gear and things that I need to get. Because like I said, I don't have anything. I don't even have a day pack that I could take there, or even a decent jacket that would work in those conditions. It's going to be pretty cold, 20, I think on summit, -20, -30 degrees perhaps. Yes. So that's been a really exciting thing to finally commit to the second time after having a conversation, really thinking about it, getting a bit more detail. So that's happening in November. So what I'm going to do with the podcast, ideally I'd love to podcast to you live in November while I'm there and release episodes every day. What I'm going to do is record some backup episodes, but still try and get a virtual assistant to help me so I can like WhatsApp him or her the voice notes from my expedition. They can play it on this podcast too. But I'm curious, have you climbed anything? Have you got any tips for me in terms of altitude, in terms of training, mindset, breathing, all of that? I've just ordered the Oxygen Advantage, a book. I listened to it on Spotify. It was great. And now I'm like, I want to get this book and actually work through it, because I think nasal breathing will be very important up at that altitude. A lot of people get this thing, it's called some type of cough. And you get it because you're breathing in like super cold air, which doesn't do much, like it isn't great for your chest and for your lungs. So yeah, lots of things to consider. And I'm excited by it. And I'm also terrified, to be honest. I guess over the course of training and doing it, I'll share what I'm up to. This isn't going to take over this podcast at all. It's going to be part of my life, is just moving every day, doing hikes on the Peloton, actually doing multi-day hikes in real life as well. Anyway, so excited. And I will play the conversation with Matt Stewart, who has offered me this opportunity on the Weekend Rewind, so you can hear what he's all about. And yeah, wish me luck with the training anyway, and I'll speak to you tomorrow.